the Make in India and the Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative.
Combination of AI and data.
Setting up centers of excellence.
Amplifying contemporary streams.
Sharp rise in adoption of quantum resistant.
Climate resilience in urban planning.
Fast track the momentum in Indian GCC industry.
Capitalize PSU banks.
Climate resilient crop varieties.
Standardization of the green taxonomy.
In this edition of Policy Square, we are pleased to welcome Dr. Ami Bera, Congressman from District California. Dr. Bera has been the longest serving Indian American in the Congress. Welcome to Policy Square, Dr. Bera.
Thank you for having me on.
Okay. Dr. Bera, in AI, what are your views in AI overall and in AI in healthcare?
So AI is moving incredibly fast, right? It's going to be part of all of our lives. What this looks like, how this evolves, just think about, when I think about ChatGPT 12 months ago and I think about where it is today, just the evolution has been incredible. So as a lawmaker, as a policymaker, we really are debating, okay, what are the guardrails that we set up on AI? Industry actually wants us to put guardrails up, and we have to get this right. So we don't want to stifle innovation, because AI used properly really can enhance and benefit our lives, help us solve some of those really difficult questions that are out there. If, on the other hand, we don't have those guardrails, well, there's always the potential that AI could do harm as well. So I think that's something we focus on, the huge potential and upside of AI, but also understand what the dark side of AI could be as well.
In terms of ethics in AI and regulation, when you compare it with regulations in your country and an understanding of what's happening in India, what would be your views?
Yeah, so on the ethics side, I often will use social media as an example. We really didn't do anything in the social media space and just let social media run wild. And now we're realizing and seeing some of the potential harmful effects of social media. The problem is it's now very hard to put back in the box or put those guardrails up because it's pretty ubiquitous across life. Let's not make that same mistake with AI. We should have a standard code of conduct. In my home state of California, they're certainly working on legislation. But how I think about it from the US perspective, we can't have 50 states having 50 different regulatory regimes. And then ideally, we would be able to come up with a US policy that Europe and Asia could come up with Asia, and then we could marry those together. So there's one standard of guidelines and ethics at an international level.
And would you think that a globally, a commonly held vision of ethics and regulation on AI would serve the world?
That would be the ideal situation. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult because European standards often are going to be much more restrictive than US standards, and they'll be different than Asian standards.
In education, Indian government has invited foreign universities to open campuses in India. How do you see that in the current political climate?
I actually think it's an opportunity for US universities to engage with the government of India or industry in India. America still is the destination of choice for many Indian students. With our restrictive visa processes, et cetera, even though Indians make up the largest number of foreign students studying in the United States, there's still a high demand. Also, right now only the wealthiest students could probably afford to come to the United States. Why not take American education, American universities, and bring it to India? Do it in partnership with India, and do it in a way that those students get the same quality of education that they would get in the United States without having to spend the tens of thousands of dollars traveling to the United States. So I think this is a win-win and something that both governments should explore.
From your own district, how do you see this kind of collaboration shaping up in the near future?
I think it's positive, right? So some of I travel around the world a lot and travel around India. Many of India's leaders got their education in the United States, or their children are studying in the United States. It's the best form of diplomacy. So I think this is a way to continue that. I would take it one step further is, yes, the main campus might be here in India, but during the summertime, can you get a temporary visa and maybe those students come spend 10 weeks at a university in California, so they also then get a taste of what America is as well.
Obviously, you have your long-term strategies, as a party and as a congressman. In terms of a short-term strategy, what would be the low-hanging fruits you'd be working towards?
I mean, short-term, this is a politically divisive time. So as I think about it in the context of U.S., India, and foreign policy, President Trump's approach is not your usual approach. Let me put it that way. How do we help friends and partners like India navigate what is an unconventional environment? We're just spending time today talking about the H-1B policy that says you have to pay $100,000 for a visa. That's not realistic, but that's what got rolled out in a haphazard way. How do we help India interpret and navigate these headwinds? Because the long-term trajectory, the long-term play has to be a strong U.S.-India relationship.
Thank you, Dr. Bera.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you.